Hello friends, in this video I talk about a question that I often hear from my students, which also leads me to another enhancement of the Tux of Math game. The question really is about the division operator. So students ask me, can they somehow incorporate division into this game, right? So for example, we have done this a 5 plus 3, students do multiplication, the subtraction, but what about division, right? So can I have like 5 divided by 3 or something like that, right? So that's the question. Now I thought about it and I realized that yes, maybe division can be added, but there's a better alternative. There's a more, let's say, also equally interesting alternative, which also I thought could be nice to learn, right? So I thought I'll just put together a short video to kind of communicate this, right? Now, mainly what is the trouble with division, right? Let's think about it, right? The problem really is that we may not end up with a neat answer, right? So for example, if you say 20 and 5 are the two numbers, divide by 5, that's fine. 20 divided by 5 is 4, right? This is okay. 20 divided by 7 is also okay. But now let's say 20 divided by 8 is 4.5. 19 divided by 3 is 6.6666. In fact, an endless fractional, right? So now the problem really is that we may not end up with a nice answer, and then it's difficult to figure out how many decimal places we should see, right? How many decimal places to store. So one way is that you can say, okay, answer to the first decimal place, and so for example 6.666 becomes 6.7, right? That's fine. So that's one thing that can be done. However, I thought a neater alternative which incorporates this as well as goes a little further is this modulo operator. So I thought I'll just introduce you what is modulo and what we can do in Scratch to do this, right? So first of all, what is modulo? Well, in simple words, modulo is the remainder, right? So for example, let's say we take 23. We know that 23 is 7 times 3 plus 2, right? Which means that if we divide 23 by 7, the quotient will be 3. So we'll get 7 times 3 is 22. So quotient is 3, but the remainder is 2, right? So in mathematical words, we say 23 mod 7 is equal to 2, right? So basically we're telling, if I divided, let's say this number by the second number, what is the remainder that remains, right? So for example, say 32 mod 8 is 0 because 8 times 4 is 32 and hence there is no remainder. Similarly, 15 mod 2 is 1 because 15 is equal to 2 times 7 plus 1. So that 1 is a remainder and so on, right? Now, if you are, you're thinking carefully, you realize that the remainder is always, say for example, 32 mod 8, the remainder will only be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 until 7, right? So if you are dividing by a number n, then the remainder will only be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 until n minus 1, right? So that's just nice and neat, and it's always an integer because we're talking of integers, so it becomes neat, right? Also, the symbol for this operation is percentage. So we typically write 23 percentage 7 equals to 2, right? So that it means 23 mod 7 is equal to 2, right? Now you can imagine that this incorporates division. It wants you to divide fast. In fact, it's quite tricky sometimes. At the same time, the answer that remains is an integer, right? So this is a neat thing. We can easily incorporate this in our game, and we'll see this how, right? Scratch has an operator to do modulo called, and this operator is called mod, right? So you got to look at the operators and go into something mod something. So it's a something mod something, and we'll put these numbers here, right? So now with all this in place, okay, it's in fact quite easy to update our code to do, say, a modulo operator, right? Now how do I do this? Well, first thing first, I'm going to create a new costume, right? Why do I need this? Because I must have a costume to have this operators they represented, right? I can't call it like 23 plus 7 equals to 2. What I want to say is 23 percentage 7 is equal to, and that's the answer I'm looking for, right? So I'm going to create a new costume. I'm going to change the logic for answer, and I'll talk about the second part. We'll avoid 0 as a second number, right? So now let's do this one by one. I'll go to the project that I was doing. Okay, where is this project gone? Okay, right here, right? So I'm going to go to this project here. Now this project is the one where I get 2-digit numbers coming in, but they're all doing just addition, right? But this is perfect. So for example, 37 plus 0 is 37, and oops, so okay, say 18, and so on and so forth, right? So this is the project that I'm starting with. Now this can do 2-digit numbers, so it's nice for modulo sake as well. Now remember, the first thing I said we'll create is this, sprite will have a new costume, and I'm just going to duplicate, let's say, the plus costume here, right? I'll duplicate this, and let's just call it, say, modulo, right? So we call it modulo, and remember I told you modulo sign is a percentage sign. So I can do that by deleting this, turning this a little bit, right, and then drawing 2 circles of the same color, so that way it will look nice, and it will look like a nice modulo sign, right? So I do this, Oops, this became too large. I could press the shift key, but this is small circle, so that's fine, right? So I do this. You can do it a little bit neater, I guess. Now I go in here. Remember, the operator clone is what I have to change, right? So instead of giving a plus here, I will say is a plus, do a modulo, right? So let's just see this working. I expect the costume to have changed. So notice now we get 39 modulo 9, 99 modulo 5, 83 modulo 6, 65 modulo 0, and so on and so forth, right? So like I said, we have done this. Now we must change the answer also. Answer can be changed quite easily, because now instead of the answer being number left plus temp 2 minus 1, it will be number left modulo temp 2 minus 1. Now again, minus 1 is because of the costumes. We've talked about this before. So I will go and use an operator here. So I'll use this mod operator. I'll go and say something mod something. So add that to the answers. And what is that something mod something? Well, number left mod temp 2 minus 1, because remember the first number is number 1, the second number here is number 2, temp 2 minus 1, right? So let's just see this for ourselves. So the first two numbers that we get is 94. Okay, so this is an interesting case that came. I got both zeros. I got next one 81 modulo 7, right? Answer is 4, because 7 times 11 is 77 and plus 4, right? So just now we got this NaN. We'll fix this. So notice that I'm getting, whenever there's a 0, I'm getting a NaN. Otherwise, I'm getting some number, right? And the number is basically the remainder. Now, why is this NaN coming, right? Now, this NaN is really coming. NaN means not a number. Not a number is coming because, as you know, nothing can be divided by 0. Division by 0 is not defined, right? So, which means that whenever I get something modulo 0, Scratch doesn't know what to do. It just says, no, this is not a number. This is something going wrong. So, what that means is that I have to avoid second number from becoming 0 if I want to do this change, right? And this is very, very simple, because the second number is really just coming from these costumes. Remember, if costume 1 is picked, the number is 0, right? So all I really have to do is that instead of 1 to 10, I can just say pick the second number from 2 to 10, right? So once that happens, I will make sure that I never get a 0, right, on the second number. So I say mod 1 is 0, because, well, anything mod 1 has to be 0 because remainder is 0, right? 35 mod 9 is whatever, right? So now let's just play this game once to see. I'll hide this list so it's just a little bit more clear what's going on. So I'll hide this answers list, and maybe we'll also hide some of these variables, right? So it becomes easier. Okay, I'll hide these things. Okay, so now let's say we start playing this. So I get 0 mod 5 has to be 0. That's fine. 93 mod 8 is, I couldn't calculate. 36 mod 6 is 6. 7 times mod 7 is 0. It's actually quite hard, right? So this is 3. This is 0. Okay, so I got it wrong. So now this is hard because you not only have to do a division quickly in your mind, you also have to remember the remainder, right? So I hope you found this interesting. You all learned some little bit of new mathematics in this, and I hope you enjoy this whole process. Okay, take care. Thank you so much. Bye bye.